Hey guys, HalfWayDead here, with a special episode for the tournament patch 1.43 and the follow-up hotfix 1.44. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you will have seen the inordinate amount of tweets regarding physics changes being enabled, disabled and cars changing. I had this video almost done when changes were disabled, then 1.44 made changes to the car presets and then it was really enabled. To save some time, I didn't remake the entire video. I apologize if this hurts the usual flow. Let's get to the car changes first. This difference is explained pretty easily. All car presets had their physical back wheels moved slightly forward. As a reminder, the standard Batmobile is the only car in the game that doesn't use a preset, and it wasn't changed. The result of the change improved turning for all car presets by about 0.5 to 1%, depending on preset and situation. I've been informed by Cory that this was done to compensate for the physics change I'll talk about now. Psyonix did a small change in how the physics are handled. The location and linear velocity vectors of the cars and the ball are getting rounded to 2 decimal places now. Why are they doing that? Well, luckily, Psyonix Cone gave out the reason in his recent GDC talk about Rocket League, which I highly recommend watching, by the way. When the server sends the information about the cars and the ball to the client, it compresses the data, probably to save bandwidth. This compressed data sacrifices accuracy to achieve the small size. In the past, this meant that your client had information that was slightly different than the true state, which is dictated by the server. In very few cases, mainly buggy bounces, such a small difference can make a noticeable impact on ball trajectory after the bounce. If the ball bounces different on your screen, that's a desync. When you receive the next update from the server telling the client what the true bounce was, it will look as if the ball bounces mid-air. With the rounding in the new patch, your computer will get the exact location the server uses, even after compression, which should prevent specific desync scenarios. Desyncs can still happen if the information that you get from the server arrives too late due to ping, or not at all due to packet loss. Alright, this is all well and good, but having the coordinates rounded also affects the physics to a small degree. First of all, and let me get this straight, it is impossible to even see the difference in location of 0.01 Unreal units. The hitbox of the Octane, which is slightly smaller than the visual size of the Octane, is 118.01 Unreal units long. That means 0.01 Unreal units are 0.0085% of that. We're talking about dimensions way less than a pixel when viewed from any normal perspective. I can assure you that you won't be able to tell the difference between the bounce of a ball being at Z location 93.14683 and 93.15. Nevertheless, there is a difference and it will accumulate over several bounces to the point where it is possible to see it. This should still be no cause for concern, but there are even more things that were affected. Cars no longer come to a dead stop in terms of velocity values. The velocities in X and Y direction seem to just remain at around 0.07 to 0.65 Unreal units per second. My best guess for why this happens is that the friction forces which slow down the car become so small at the low velocities that they reduce the car's velocity by less than 0.005 Unreal units per second in one physics tick. Due to the rounding, the reduction in velocity will just get rounded back up, causing the car to stay at the same value. This is also how the car stays in place despite having some remaining velocity. At a speed of 0.07 Unreal units per second, the car location moves by 0.00058 Unreal units in one physics tick, which gets rounded to 0. The car doesn't move at all. There are some cases I found where the velocities stayed at 0.65 Unreal units per second, moving the car by 0.0054 Unreal units per tick, which rounds up to 0.01 Unreal units. As a result, the car slides around slowly without any inputs. Not a big deal, but it should be fixed by either decaying the speed over time or just making it stop at once. The ball already has this mechanic, which I covered in episode 4. Let's get to the part that could actually affect gameplay. In all previous patches, when landing, the suspension system would stabilize the car in a certain position. For the Octane, for example, that meant at an exact pitch angle of -100. This is an internal representation of the engine and means that the Octane was tilted forwards by 0.55 degrees. With the new update, similar to how the velocities don't go back to exactly zero, the pitch is stable at a range of values between -96 and -125. That's only a 0.16 degree difference. But I also found that the turning when boosting was about 1% better at the steepest angle. Without boosting, the difference was only 0.4%, but it was still there. The exact values are different for every car preset, but they're all affected in the same manner, plus or minus 0.2%. The roll angle and the center of mass height are similarly stable at a range of values, but I found their impact to be around 2 orders of magnitude less, making them rather irrelevant. But there is more. I have also found turning to be better left than right by around 0.5%. I couldn't pinpoint why this happens though. I doubt that most players, if any, can notice differences of 1% until I see them do it in a blind test. Nevertheless, I know a lot of people will be convinced that they can. And from a scientific point of view, I'd like these things to be as stable as possible. Because right now, I have to take care of so many more parameters, or else the outcome of an experiment will not be 100% the same every time I do it. That's also part of the reason I haven't updated the car start spreadsheet yet. Because it takes a ton of time right now, and I'm not sure which values I should even put in there. Keep in mind that I'm currently only measuring the tightest turn with and without boosting. More info on that in episode 8. One of the videos coming fairly soon will take a closer look at turning and hopefully provide some more clarity. Corey has been in contact with me and said that so far they've been busy with the servers, but they'll take a look at these turning issues. If something changes again, I'll keep you guys up to date on Twitter ASAP. Shout out to my patrons for supporting me financially. They allow me to spend this much time on research and videos. If you decide to pledge as little as $1, you get a chance to vote on topic priority. The video that was planned for last Sunday has been delayed for a while now, because I've been busy testing all these interactions and putting this video together. But I'll finish it soon, I promise. See you guys then.